There have been many live action TV shows the MCU has produced since its inception. While many of the shows they produced were good and some, dare I say, were peak, we are starting to see a trend of the MCU and Marvel as a whole and Disney as a whole producing shows, movies, any type of projects with little to no effort or care, and they're just dumping these shows into the public just for profit. And we're seeing this new tactic fail miserably. We have seen this with the likes of Echo, we have seen this with the likes of Secret Invasion, we have seen this with the likes of She-Hulk, and even on the Star Wars side, we have recently seen this with the likes of Star Wars Acolyte, where Marvel, Disney, and Star Wars are just blatantly not caring about what the fans want. They're blatantly not caring about what it takes to make and write a good story, and they're replacing writing great stories, telling compelling stories, creating compelling characters just for their own ideologies and for their own agendas. They're trying to push their own agendas, and many fans did not like what they heard when they're starting to see the cast members like Aubrey Plaza, Catherine Hahn, and Joel Loke saying that this show will be a gay explosion by the end of it. And you can't really blame the fans on being mad at that, because many of the new shows that have been released, like I recently just said in this video, a lot of them have flopped critically, commercially, and financially due to these agendas being inserted into the show. Now, there is nothing wrong with adding women, people of the LGBTQ community, people of color into any show, but when you do that, you should not replace the story for that. You should not make the story be weak and trash, but you not completely focus on including as many people as you want, because that proves to make fans angry, because fans just want to see a good story. Fans just want to see great, compelling characters. That is why when the Agatha cast and crew are promoting the show primarily for the fact that it is going to be the gayest show that MCU has ever seen and it will be a gay explosion, it has made a lot of fans, including myself, be apprehensive of the show, because we have basically prepared ourselves for a mid-story. Because if the sole purpose of your promotion is to show that it is a gay show and not to show that it is one of the best stories of all time, one of the best characters of all time, it's not rocket science to understand why some people will be apprehensive of it before watching it, why some people would want to skip over it before watching it. I watched the first 2 episodes of Agatha All Along, and I'm gonna tell you this right now, it's not a bad show, but it's extremely boring in my opinion. And the reason why I'm saying that is because Catherine Hahn, who plays Agatha in the show, she's probably the only good thing about the show in my opinion, while her and Miss Hart, who was played by Deborah Jo Rupp, but they are the only 2 saving graces of this show, because this show's plot, in my opinion, is extremely boring. Now, this show follows up the events of WandaVision and Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. I did not watch WandaVision, but I heard that show was a great show. It was an influential show, and a lot of fans really loved that show. But I watched Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. I thought it was a pretty good movie, a little bit over the top at some points, but I thought overall it was a pretty good movie. So to see them follow up of those 2 projects, I'm gonna tell you right now, the first 2 episodes, well, I wasn't really feeling it in my opinion, you know, like I just wasn't really feeling it, because we see Agatha, she is now a police detective or a sergeant, and she is looking to find this dead body, this dead corpse that her and her colleagues are trying to, you know, locate the body. When they find the body, you know, Agatha, we're seeing that she is not mentally right. Even her own colleagues are telling her like, are you okay, Agatha? They're asking her if she's okay, but she seems seems stubborn, she seems headstrong, so she is trying to actually solve this case by herself. When she goes back to the police station, we're not introduced to Rio Vidal, who's played by Aubrey Plaza. And Rio Vidal is like a new character, but it seems that Rio Vidal, she has history with Agnes / Agatha, and they have some tension when they meet each other in Agatha's office, and Rio is trying to help with the case, but Agatha, she wants nothing to do with Rio. But we're seeing that Agatha, she is just mentally not right in the head. Well, not really that she's crazy, but we'll later see that this is because she is casted under a spell by Scarlet Witch, because she's actually trapped in this little type of, not a pocket dimension, but in this type of reality. Like, it didn't really make sense, but like, this was what they were basically explaining why she was stuck in this place, because when she now went home, Rio now came, to her home to basically ask to talk and hang out. And then when they were talking and hang out, Rio told Agatha that that's not why I'm here. But before it was actually continued, we now see that someone was breaking into her house, who is this teen, but he doesn't really have a name. And then the dude that was breaking into her house was chased down by Agatha. Agatha now tackles him because he got ran over by Mrs. Hart because she was just driving home. But after that, when Agatha now brings this teen into the police station and starting to interrogate this teen in front of Rio Vidal, we're starting to see that the reality that is from Agatha's perspective is actually becoming distorted, because the teen is actually chanting the spell to remove Agatha from this fake reality that she's in. So then Rio wasn't even there, the window wasn't even there, it was a painting. So then now Agatha actually trapped this teen into her house, but at the same time, Rio actually casted another spell on Agatha. When Agatha was in the morgue trying to see the dead body, she thought that the dead body was actually Scarlet Witch, and then Rio now did some spell which caused Agatha to remove a lot of her clothes, showing that she was showing herself from like different generations, I think. Then she now wakes up nude in the house. She now remembers who she is. This scene was pretty funny when she came out and she now saw her neighbor. But one thing that I didn't understand about this first episode and second episode is that she's a police sergeant. I thought that the police department that she works for will be calling her phone saying, hey, where have you been, but that wasn't the case, because they just kind of dropped that plot point. I hope that was probably because that was part of the fake dimension, but her neighbors actually recognized her when she was naked and rambling. They recognized her, and one of the neighbors was one of her colleagues in the police department. But we're seeing that Agatha is now starting to work with the teen to find the remaining 4 witches of this journey that she needs to regain who she is, and she needs to basically regain her powers. But the episode ends when Rio breaks into her house, they fight, and Rio is about to kill Agatha, but then Agatha, she now basically persuades and convinces Rio to not kill her yet. You want to kill me when I'm in my full power. It seems that Rio, she actually accepted that offer because they have some history together, but we'll see what that history will be. But then she now said, you better watch out, because there are 5 other witches or magical people that are trying to come and kill you. So then the episode ends there, and the next episode starts with Agatha and the team. They're now going on that drive. They're leaving their town and they're going on a drive to see and locate the remaining 4 witches. They eventually actually find the 4 witches. The episode format was basically broken into 1/4. First part, they found one witch, Jennifer Kale. Second part, they found another witch, Lilia. Third part, they found another witch, Alice Wu. And then the last part, that was when they now went to the basement to do that ritual to open the door. And the reason why they didn't find the 4th one was because I think the 4th one was Rio Vidal, because when Lilia wrote who the 4th one was, she wrote it as a black heart, and Rio in the last episode said that her heart is black. So I'm thinking that it's actually her. But the reason why Mrs. Hart is there, she's not a witch herself, but Agatha did not want to bring Rio, so then she now basically went to Mrs. Hart because her last name is Hart, you know. But Mrs. Hart, she was funny in this scene. She didn't really know what was going on when they started singing and doing that ritual. She didn't really know what was going on, so I liked her little scene there. But the episode was cut off and it ended when we were starting to see the people that are hunting Agatha. They came to the neighborhood and they were, you know, trying to break into the house, doing their demonic powers to try to find Agatha, but it was too late. After the song was done, it kind of took some time because for reasons I thought it wouldn't work because they needed Rio Vidal, but I guess it worked because Mrs. Hart was there. Like, that part was a little bit of a plot hole in my opinion, because they were trying to make it seem that this thing can only work with Rio or with the other witch with the black heart. But yeah, we'll see in the next episode. Then that's when the episode ends, and I have to say it's not bad per se. It made me laugh at some points. It made me entertain at some points, like when those witches were coming in and we now saw one of Agatha's neighbors. When he saw them, he instantly ran away, you know what I mean? But it wasn't too bad. It's just like it was boring. It's like it's a basic story in my opinion. Like, oh, we need to find this witch, this witch, this witch, this witch. We need to find these people to get to this location so we can get this thing so that I can become whole again. It's like a basic run-of-the-mill story, you know what I mean? There weren't too many scenes that I could be, oh, this is a very intense show. But we'll have to see in the next couple of episodes. Would I recommend you watching this? I mean, you could watch it if you want, but that's just up to you, man. That's up to you guys, you know. But yeah, this show is not too bad. It's pretty boring. It's extremely boring. The plot is very basic and bland, but it's not trash. That's the end of the video. I'm out. Peace.